Chapter 3. Unraveling the Dark History. As the haunting melody of the antique music box filled the oppressive silence of the attic, Sarah's mind raced, her grip tightening on the worn wooden crate that lay before her. The shadows seemed to press in around her, the flickering beam of her flashlight casting an eerie glow on the tattered journals and weathered photographs that spilled forth from the box's contents. Steeling her nerves, Sarah began to carefully sift through the items, her fingers trembling slightly as she traced the faded ink on the yellowed pages. The journals were a testament to the mansion's long-forgotten history, their spidery handwriting a window into the lives of those who had once inhabited its halls. With each new discovery, Sarah felt a growing sense of unease wash over her. The entries spoke of strange occurrences, of unexplained phenomena that had plagued the inhabitants of Holloway House. There were whispers of dark rituals, of obsession and madness, and an underlying current of something far more sinister that Sarah couldn't quite place. As she delved deeper into the journals, Sarah's mind was drawn back to the malevolent presence she had sensed lurking in the shadows, the dark, amorphous shape that had seemed to drift and sway, as if animated by some unseen force. Was this entity somehow connected to the dark history that was now unfolding before her? The music box continued to play, its haunting melody a constant reminder of the weight of the past that hung heavy in the air. Sarah couldn't help but feel drawn to the ornate, tarnished object, as if it held the key to unlocking the mansion's darkest secrets. Carefully, she lifted the lid, her gaze fixed on the delicate figurines that danced within, their movements strangely hypnotic. The music seemed to wash over her, the discordant notes now a soothing lullaby that lulled her senses, softening the edges of her rational mind. Suddenly, the music seemed to shift, the once gentle melody transforming into a jarring, dissonant wail that sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. The figurines, too, had changed, their graceful movements now jerky and erratic, as if possessed by some unseen force. Sarah watched, transfixed, as the music box's mechanisms whirred and clicked, the figurines twisting and contorting in a macabre dance. And then, as if drawn by the music's siren call, Sarah's mind was flooded with vivid, unsettling visions. She saw the mansion in its heyday, its grand halls filled with the laughter and chatter of a bygone era. But the images were tinged with a sense of unease, a pervasive feeling that something dark and sinister lurked beneath the surface. Flashes of a family, a father, a mother, and a young child, passed before her eyes, their faces etched with a mixture of joy and a deep, abiding sorrow. Sarah felt a lump in her throat as she watched the child, a girl with dark, haunting eyes, play with the music box, her innocent laughter echoing through the grand, dimly lit parlor. And then, the images shifted, the scenes growing more disturbing, more unsettling. The child's laughter morphed into a piercing scream, and Sarah watched in horror as the family was torn apart by some unseen force, their bodies contorting in unnatural ways as they were consumed by a darkness that seemed to seep from the very walls of the mansion. Sarah gasped, her hands trembling as she slammed the lid of the music box shut, cutting off the harrowing melody that had consumed her senses. The attic was silent once more, save for the faint creaking of the floorboards and the labored sound of her own ragged breathing. Clutching the music box to her chest, Sarah felt a deep sense of dread wash over her. What dark secrets had she just uncovered? And what sinister force had so cruelly torn apart the lives of those who had once called Holloway House their home? Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah began to carefully sift through the remaining journals, her eyes scanning the pages with a renewed sense of urgency. The entries grew more frantic, more disturbing, as she delved deeper into the mansion's history. There were accounts of strange, unexplained phenomena, doors that would slam shut on their own, objects that would disappear and reappear in different locations, and the persistent feeling of being watched, even in the most remote and isolated corners of the house. One journal, written in a shaky, barely legible hand, described a ritual performed by the mansion's previous residents, a twisted occult ceremony that had been intended to harness the power of the supernatural. But the ritual had gone horribly awry, and the journal's author spoke of a dark, malevolent force that had been unleashed, a presence that had consumed the lives of those who had dared to tamper with the unknown. As Sarah read the chilling accounts, she felt a chill run down her spine. The weight of the mansion's history seemed to press down on her, the air growing thicker and more oppressive with each passing moment. She couldn't shake the feeling that the very walls of the attic were alive, that the shadows held secrets infinitely more disturbing than she could have ever imagined. Suddenly, a faint sound reached her ears, a soft, scratching noise that seemed to come from the far corner of the attic. Sarah froze, her heart pounding in her chest as she strained to discern the source of the noise. The music box, now silent, seemed to hum with a latent energy, as if it too were attuned to the unseen presence that had once again made itself known. Slowly, Sarah turned her gaze towards the corner, her flashlight beam wavering as she searched the shadows for any sign of movement. At first she saw nothing, the darkness seemingly impenetrable. But then, a flicker of movement, a shifting of the shadows caught her eye, and Sarah felt her breath catch in her throat. There, lurking in the far corner, was the same dark, amorphous shape she had glimpsed before, the presence that had seemed to drift and sway, as if animated by some unseen force. Sarah stared, transfixed, as the shape coalesced, its form becoming more defined, more menacing. She wanted to scream, to turn and flee, but she found herself rooted to the spot, her body betraying her overwhelming desire to escape. The air grew thick and heavy, and Sarah could feel the weight of the mansion's dark history pressing down on her, as if the very walls were alive with the echoes of the past. As the shape drew closer, Sarah could make out more of its features, a vaguely humanoid form, with limbs that seemed to writhe and contort in a manner that defied the laws of nature. Its eyes, if they could be called that, were mere pits of darkness, bottomless wells of malevolence that seemed to bore into the very depths of her soul. Sarah's mind raced, her thoughts a jumbled, panicked mess as she tried to make sense of the horror that was unfolding before her. Was this the same sinister force she had glimpsed in the journals, the result of some twisted, occult ritual that had been performed within the walls of Holloway House? Or was it something else entirely, a manifestation of the darkness that had long since consumed the mansion and all who had dared to venture within its halls? Whatever it was, Sarah knew that she was in grave danger. The attic, once a repository of the mansion's forgotten history, had become a realm of pure terror, a place where the living dared not tread. And yet she found herself unable to turn away, her curiosity and her determination to uncover the truth outweighing her overwhelming sense of fear. As the dark presence drew closer, Sarah steeled her nerves, her grip tightening on the music box and the journals that lay scattered around her. Whatever lay in wait for her, she knew that she could not turn back. Not now, when the very secrets of Holloway House were so tantalizingly close. With a deep breath, she braced herself for the confrontation to come, her heart pounding in her chest as she prepared to face the unseen horrors that lurked within the shadows of the attic. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Part 4 and stories. Thanks for watching.